For you, what are some of the biggest challenges that you had in your professional development to get to this point? We're going to get back to the cars too, because we kind of skirted and then we slid off of that.
I, I think the biggest challenge is the challenge of being um, a black male in corporate America,
How so?
because most black professionals lack access and they lack mentorship and guidance. Because many times when you get into that corporate space, there aren't many people that look like you. And if they are, for me, they were in operation. They weren't on the front lines in sales or in marketing or whatnot at the time that I was coming out. There might be like one or two others. Having two black dudes on one team is unheard of. And that's just real. And I remember I shared that with a senior leader of mine, and he's like, "Oh no, Lamar, that's not how it is." And I was like, "Okay." And then there was
That's how it is to me.
right,
That's my reality.
right.
That's my reality.
And then there's this moment
Right.
where she has a real scenario happen, and she's like, "Oh my God, it is like that." And I said, "Look, you're from the East. You're a woman. What the hell do you know about being black and being a guy in corporate America? And you've been able to rise to the occasion, be a leader and all that." And so when I share these things with you, I'm just speaking truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat and lie to you. I'll tell you when your name tag's upside down. And so those are some of the dynamics that don't always promote black leadership, but more in there has to be that relationship. You have to have caught the interest of a particular leader to bring you along. If that doesn't happen, you just sitting there driving revenue. Yeah.
I think I've seen that with two different approaches.
Mhm.
You know, you get into those levels and it's like, hey, that's somebody who looks like me. Let me teach them the ways. And then there's also, I'm the HNIC. You're not gonna take what's mine from a competitive aspect. You know, have you encountered either or both of those?
You know what? No, I have not. Probably early on, I had a female leader that was like a little off a rocker, mixing business and religion, wanting to pray in the meetings and then praying about me. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I think that was the only time. But other than that, I knew very early on there's only two ways to advance. One is by tenure, right? And the other one is by knowledge. And I came out into the workplace at 30. So I didn't have the time. So I just had to get the knowledge. So I became an academic in terms of what it was that I was doing or how I was selling. And that was how I developed my own self, because I didn't leave it up to the next person. That wasn't my experience. That wasn't how I was raised. I'm truly Gen X. I'm analog. I can pick it up. I can figure it out. I took calculus in high school. I was at honors classes.
You're
I was
smarter than I am.
Pre-business major. I didn't get a 3.9 though. I had to drop out of business major because I was only busting like a 2.5, and you needed a 3.2 to get into the school of business. And so I ended up becoming an English lit major because I enjoyed reading, I enjoyed writing, and I discovered that. And, I just kind of leveraged that as my way of, if I can learn a playbook in 6 weeks and know it and go out on the field and do it without thinking, I can come in and I can learn the job and your product and your service and go out there and deliver it flawlessly. Not a big deal. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about me early on in my career, especially in sales, because the way I equate sales is kind of like football. Football is football is football. The only thing that changes between the teams is the philosophy and the acumen of the playbook. But the game itself is, very much all the same. And so I look at sales very much the same way. Every organization has a certain philosophy, and every organization has an acumen around their product that you have to pick up and learn. That's it. And that has been the kind of the magic sauce of being able to traverse multiple industries in sales.
Hard Parking Podcast, a little bit of cars, and so much more, available anywhere you get your podcast, or check it out at hardparkingpod.com.